Welcome everyone. Today I have a new patch, new Dota autochess build that I want to share with you guys. This is not like a new build, but this is a very powerful new patch setup that is insanely powerful with pure damage. If you look at the shot demo over here, that was 9 warriors, and they melted within 10 seconds of the fight, and my team pretty much did pure damage to them. So just briefly have a look. You can see there's a massive doom, there's spins, but my units are annihilating them within seconds because of the pure damage with the goblins and also the Dareneis. But yes, it is very powerful, and this is perfect with the latest patch change with a lower cost of the Shadow Demon. So what I want to do is, I have been testing a few builds after the patch changes. I want to try IOs with warriors, but firstly, let's have a look at this very powerful updated build with the 6 goblins. What do we want to do at the start of the game is, you tend to want to go for a winning streak if you can, and yes, we'll be picking all the goblins and also all the Darenei. The Darenei? Oh gosh, you know what I mean by. So yes, you want to pick all the goblins and all the Darenei so that you can have 6 goblins and also 4 Darenei in the mid stage of the game. This build heavily involves in upgrading your units to 3 stars. If you only have units to 2 stars, this won't be very powerful after round 30, so keep this in mind. Now, what I do at the start of the fight and start of the game is, I try to look for items that can provide me with tons of defensiveness, like Vanguard, anything that provides me with armor, anything that provides me with regeneration, that'll be great. Unfortunately, I didn't get the best start, but with the change of Shadow Demon with such a low cost, you can easily go into a losing streak. So that's what I did. Now, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to fast forward a little bit. You can see for the rest of the 10 rounds, I'm basically scouting around to see what other players are playing, and then collecting my units for the low cost Darenei and also low cost goblins, and while managing my economy. Around this time, it is okay to sell 1 or 2 units just for the additional gold, and that's what I did over here. I decided to sell the Darkseer over here just to make to the 29 gold, because I don't want to pay 3 gold for Darkseer, right? Not at this stage. Now, it is much preferable if you can do a win streak with your units, and around this time, you also want to consider what other units you want to be banning after round 10. The best units to be banning for this particular build is going to be warriors. Second to that will be the trolls. The trolls will be a little cheaper, but at the same time, the trolls themselves won't give you the best rates for finding your units. The best ones to ban are the warriors, but this can be a little costly. So you can see I have been managing my economy. Let's go to round 10 a little quicker. And basically I can see there's one Chinese player who's also playing a similar build. But I know I tend to have better economies because I have been running a losing streak, and I'll be rolling at a much lower level than him for better rates. So this means if he's contesting with me, likely he will lose. It's important to check if anybody else is contesting in this build in low level rolling, because this build really comes in power when start to roll. Let's have a look. Usually for the neutral round, you want to get the goblins and also mercs done so you can get additional rerolls after you win the fight. Not a major factor, but this helps later game, because you save pretty much 2 gold for the reroll. Now, in terms of the choice of relics, I tend to go for anything that gives me better economy. So I can go with the Stolen Vault, or I can go with the Certainty Loop. The Certainty Loop will protect my losing streak, while the Vault will give me additional gold. I do have plenty of gold at this stage. I actually want to protect my losing streak, because I know after round 15, I'll try to stop losing. But before that, I still want to keep losing. Now, you might have not noticed, I have not leveled up once for this build. I want to stay as low level as I can because I want to be rolling for my goblins. And here are the choices of banning. You can see the choices of banning the warriors is around 22 to 26 gold. Banning the trolls is around 10 to 12 gold, depending whether they are legendaries. So it depends how much gold you have and also how much increased rate do you want for your units. I tend to go for the more expensive version, so I decided to ban the warriors for this particular game. And as you can see over here, we'll ban the warriors, and this gives you much better rate before you start rerolling for your 3 stars. This is very, very important. Now, again, I'm going to fast forward a little bit. I don't recommend rerolling now because you want to wait for round 15 before you start rolling. This is also the case if you want higher grade units like the legendaries. After round 15, you get much better rates with your talents. So let's go a little further. Nothing too special. We're collecting tangles and we're just putting down the, putting down the priest for additional economy. So we're still waiting, and notice I have not selected my relic. One thing I want to notice, I left the relic box open because I'm running a losing streak. I can continue to run a losing streak without selecting the relic. I plan to select the certainty loop, but I will only select the certainty loop if I'm about to break my losing or winning streak. This allows me to keep this particular loop for multiple rounds after round 20 if I don't select another relic. So this is a small trick I like to do, and I even decided to not fuse my units automatically in case I need to sell the Shadow Demon, but I didn't need to do that, so I clicked the auto combine after this. Nothing too special here. Gonna defeat the wolves with the right positioning, and then we start rolling because we have picked the greedy talent for the low cost of units. Very, very important. Now during this time, I do not recommend trying to roll into Dawnbreaker because Dawnbreaker is quite expensive. You're stuck with her on 2 stars and then can't go further. Picking the panda is just me being greedy, but ideally I really wanted to get all the 1 cost and also 2 cost units to 3-star if I can. And here I'm trying to see if I can manage my units correctly, and I also decided to put down my strongest units after round 15. It's not because I'm out of HP, because I still have tangles, but I figured at that race time I can start to win. And one of the best part about winning with this build is that not only you get the free rerolls because of the mercs. Oh, look at this. So I'm about to win, right? So before I won, I click the certainty loop, so that protects my losing streak. You can do similar things with a winning streak. If you're about to lose with a winning streak, you quickly select this relic on this round. So this means by round 25, I'll still have this relic available as long as you don't select a new relic. And this is a hidden trick for a lot of economy. And over here you gotta see me rolling. I did get a little greedy, keeping the Dawnbreaker, which you'll see it is a mistake that I want to share with you guys. Around this time, one of the best things you want to do is, oh gosh, I think, okay, here it was okay, I didn't get too greedy on this round. So around this time, you want to put down as many bounty hunters as you can, especially for the first blood kill. Because multiple bounty hunters, when they kill the enemy on the first time, they will give you 1, 3, and also 5 bonus gold for the first time they kill a unit. And that's really good gold. Let me try to show you guys over here. And they're not really killing anything. Oh look, they killed one. The Shuriken killed one, we got 3 gold. So each of the 2-star bounty hunters will give you 3 gold on the first PvP kill. Now, around this time, I do want to warn you guys. So you do not want to keep too many Dawnbreakers. You don't want to overflop your board like this. Why is I overflopping the board? What do I mean? So notice I can only put 5 units on the board, and I already have 9 units on the board, and my storage bench with only 8 units is already full. I'm trying to roll for multiple 3 stars, thinking that I can fuse the final ones with IO, but I'm getting very greedy over here, and you gotta see a massive mistake. I don't usually make those mistakes, but sometimes I think I can get away with it. So when you're overflooding the board and also rolling for multiple units, one of the biggest things you want to be aware of is what are the units you are forced to lose and how you clear up the bench space. Let's have a look at what's going to happen. So my backup plan is that I will sell any of the 1-cost units or any of the 1-star units like the Tinker, Dawnbreakers, and also use the IO to fuse, and this will quickly free up a lot of space. But what's going to happen is, as the timer ticks down, I find more units, then my brain is overloaded. So only 4 seconds. This is when you want to stop rolling and start clearing up the space. But I decided to check down the IO, and it auto fuses into a unit over here, which what's happening? Let me have a look. Okay, so let's have a look what happens. So here, this is the detrimental part about this replay I wanted to show you guys fully. So I just throw down the IO, it auto fused into a clockwork, which means I have more space. But I only have 3 seconds left. So what do? I panicked and I keep rolling. I shouldn't be rolling. I should be selling units for clearing up the space. And here I'm selling, but I'm selling too slow. The distance between the courier and a unit actually costed me here. I went left, when I went right, I tried to sell the units in the middle, but I was too slow. Look at the board. It auto sold my 2-star Tinker, 2-star timber saw, so I lost two 2-star units because of this massive mistake. And this is very costly. I don't deny it, this is a mistake, and I'll show you guys how to avoid this mistake. So, going back, around with only 4-5 seconds to go, you really want to clear off enough space for the units to come back. So if you're overloading the board like this, you don't want to do what I'm doing here. So here, notice that here I have 6 units overflooded. I need to clear up the space. I shouldn't be rolling. And if you weren't greedy like me, that's not gonna be good. A lot of players I've seen quit the game because of that happens. Notice half of my board got sold. But just to show you guys, this is still playable, the game still works, and you can still do the same method. I lost a lot of economy, time, and also my timing is delayed. But I want to show you guys the build still works wonderfully in this current patch. I did manage to find a 3-star Shadow Demon and also a 3-star Clockwork. And we still have tons of tangles, so I'm not going to lose heart and thinking, oh no, I can't play the game anymore. You can still keep playing the game and try your best to keep rolling. And we're still pretty strong. So, what we're doing now is I'm being more careful with rolling, and I decide to try to find as many 3-stars as I can while not flooding the board. And yes, I would have gotten my 3-star Tinker, I would have gotten a lot of 3-star units at this stage. And I still overflood the board a little bit, but notice I'm rather careful now. I'm also switching out the Bounty Hunter that has gotten a kill, and the new fresh Bounty Hunter, yes, I also saw the Bounty Hunter automatically. The new fresh Bounty Hunter will help me to get 3 additional gold for killing an enemy. This can be profitable if you get this correctly, if the Bounty Hunter can kill enemies consistently with the new Bounty Hunters. But not many people do this, it is not that consistent. So, what you're trying to look for after round 20 is to get as many 3-stars as you can. All the units you're rolling for, including Shadow Demon, are 1 cost and 2 cost. We're not rolling for the Dawnbreaker, we're just trying to get the Goblins and also 3 of the Darenei to 3 stars. And you can see I'll fast forward a little bit. Eventually, I'm left with only Timber Saw to roll for. Of course, if I didn't make the mistake, I would have made it pretty fast. Now, during this time, you can see you will lose a little bit after round 20. Now, do keep in mind, I do have more tangles, so I'm not too scared of losing HP. I need to level my build to level 8 then level 9 to have the fullest potential. And before that, it is quite important that if you don't find all your 3-stars and you're losing a lot, you can keep leveling. I'll show you guys multiple replays of what happens when you don't run a losing streak, and if you keep winning, how do you play the build as well. So now that I found all my units, the 3-stars, I want to level to level 6 as quickly as I can. And then we go to level 7, level 8, and level 9. Around this time, you start to look for the wizard units. These include the Naga Siren, the Dark Widow, and also the Rubik. So I found 2 of them, and I'm just going to wait for my economy, slowly leveling. And you can see that we're getting pretty stable. A lot of our skills actually reduces damage taken, and this is great on the strongest unit. You can see I have been keeping all the best items on the Timber Saw. Timber Saw is going to be your tankiest, highest damage dealing unit that is very consistent with low cooldowns. And this is going to be my centerpiece. So I'm going to fast forward a little bit. Around this time, I haven't really rolled for items. And I'll explain the item selection very soon. Some items can be game changing for this particular build. Just getting some water, and around 25. Gotta face the neutrals. Let's see what items we can select off the neutrals. So now keep in mind, so what you might have noticed is how come it didn't select the relic mat? It's round 25, why haven't you selected the relic? The reason I haven't selected relic is because I kept my last relic to round 16. I then know my certainty loop can last all the way to round 26. I want to keep the loop as long as I can. And when the certainty loop coming from the previous relic expires after 10 rounds of selection, I can then select the new relic. If I select the new relic too soon, this will replace my current relic, and this would have lost my continuous econ coming from the losing streak. So I have been winning and while keeping my losing streak, which is really good. So here my relic broke, and after relic broken, I decided to select a new relic. And what I wanted to do is I want to be using the magic additional synergies, and I want to try to find anything on my wizard that gives me more goblins, more deities, more mercs, or maybe more warlocks. Even more Naga is good. I was able to find more warlocks over here, and you get to see its powers in the ultra late game with multiple warlock and also life stealing. And here, in terms of item selection, I decided to go with more defensive items, thinking that my Timbersaw can't be doomed. If Timbersaw is doomed, we don't really get the best healing, and Doom is a really good counter to our build. Now, one of the best items for this build is going to be the Mechanism. Mechanism heals a unit of 500 health. With 4 Darenei's on the board, all the units that are healed would do pure damage depending on the amount of healed they have received. And once the healing is over 100, the AoE pure damage is insane. So picking the Mechanism not only keeping our units alive, it is also a massive damage output. It is a burst damage. This is one of the best items for this build after testing, and you get to see the reasons why after we have all the synergies going. At the moment, it won't be very strong because we don't have the 4 Darenei's. Let's have a look. Because all of our units are 3 stars, they are very durable, and yes, my Lincoln Spear protects the Timbersaw for now. Not the biggest item, of course. The Mechanism is the best item for us at this stage. I'm gonna fast forward a little bit, and you can see I have kept my economy very stable, over 40 gold. If you're really desperate, going to level 8 and also level 9 as quickly as you can. But it's very hard to get to level 9 for this build around this time. Likely after around 30, you can get to level 9. So if you can keep your economy, better to do so, because level 9 is the biggest power spike. And nothing too major, you can see we're already stabilizing. Just because our units are very strong with 3 stars. So, over here I decided to not rush to level, because I know even if I lose like this massively, so I'll show you guys I'm actually losing pretty badly, depending on the ready to build. I have so many tangos ready because of my priest. And using those tangos will allow me to regenerate health, but I'm not using all of them in case I get struck by Zeus. Nothing too special over here, just gonna lose a little bit, or win a little bit, it really depends on the enemy, and each time I lose, gonna pop some tangos. Now if you're running a winning streak and don't have tangos, you have to manage your health accordingly. You don't want to go under 20% because that is very risky. So before the round starts, I want to show you guys, I have been counting the amount of items I have, and I decided to use all the items to start rolling for the purple tier 4 items. This build also become very strong in any of the great defensive activation tier 4 items. So let's have a look what I can find, and I'll go through the best item choices. So rolling items, I usually roll before the neutral run, so I get a free reroll after the neutral run, and this resets. Radiance is very powerful for this build, simply because you do pure damage, and with the warlocks you can lifesteal and gives you evasion for defensiveness, and the pure damage is very consistent because you're so durable. Other than that, you can go with the Giant's Ring, one of the best items for this build. The damage block, the regen, it's great defensively, and the regen also becomes offensive as well. So I'm really looking for the Giant's Ring for this build if I can. There's also tons of other great tier 4 items for this build. Nothing too special. I want to buy my time, get to level 9 as quick as I can, and I've been saving a lot of rerolls to find my Alchemist or Snapfire. If I can find those units, then I can get my final synergy for the completion of the build. I know it took 30 rounds to get it ready, but you already set the foundation for your build. Around this time or any time, if you can find Tranquil Boots, that's also great on your units for the additional regen that becomes additional damage. Let's have a look at the fight before the Goblins. Oh, this is Warriors. This does not look good because it's got a Sven. Sven does a lot of pure damage. But because we have the Darenei's, we're actually doing pure damage. And the pure damage allows us to AoE down the Warriors a little bit. Not the best though. I was like, hold on. Yep, they got us. And that's before I got my synergies. So finally, I went to level 9 and I started to use my rerolls to try to find Alchemist. Why Alchemist? It's because Alchemist plus the Warlocks you have on the field with Shadow Demon gives you 2 Warlocks. I was lucky to find 4 Warlocks because the Rubik is also Warlock. So 3 Warlock equals to 4 Warlocks. If you don't have the Rubik's, added synergy, go to level 10, finding 1 more Warlock will also work. I'll show you a replay with that as well. But now if I go to level 10 and find more Warlocks, I can go into 6 Warlocks in the future, which will be amazing for this build. So let's have a look at the final completion of the build after 32 runs. Using the Mechanism, we pretty much one-shot the frontline units, and our units are unkillable with tons of lifesteal and they do a lot of pure damage. Look at the side of the pure damage, it is incredible for this build. And there's so much sustain, so much durability. We can pretty much face tank anything but pure damage. The things that counters this build is going to be pure damage coming from Sven, coming from the demons, or anything that can do pure damage with Havoc Hammer. Other than that, you can counter the warriors, you can counter the assassins, you can be countered by the mages. Against mages, you do want to pipe additional magic resistance. But I have been checking, there are no mages for this particular game, at least at this stage. We're going to fast forward a little bit, and just to show you guys how the build fares once it's completed. Pretty powerful, and there's so much healing, so much sustain, and you can see the Timbersaw is doing work. The pure damage, the lifesteal, oof, it is lovely. And each time he pops the mechanism, there's massive AoE burst damage because of the synergies and also combinations. And you can see, pretty much not many players can survive against this build once I'm completed to level 9. The hardest part is to find your 3 stars in the early game to mid-game, then it's harder to get to level 9. Once you get to level 9, you're pretty much ready. Now you don't need the Dark Willow over here. You can use a Naga Serum for more Nagas, which I'll show you guys in the future, against mages. Gonna fast forward a little bit, let's have a look at this one. This is gonna be a Hybrid Shaman. Yes, Hyper Shaman. And he's reviving, he's summoning, while my unit just face tanks him and does pure damage. And the Timbersaw is incredible with his item selection. I do want to go a little further, so we're coming to round 35. Nothing the dragon can do. Now, in terms of selection to items, I want an item that can provide me with additional activation. The Guardian Greaves is good, but it doesn't give us additional healing, so I decided to not go with Guardian Greaves, but rather roll into any other good tier 4 items. This is a hard choice. The Guardian Greaves is actually not bad for the build. So I managed to get Refresher. Refresher plus Mechanism is actually surprisingly broken. Who would have thought, right? Now, you want as many activation items with Refresher as you can, and I'll start to roll for more activation items, because Refresher refreshes your skill and also all of your items. So this is a warrior, 9 warriors. Let's have a look with Refresher what happens to them. So we refreshed, and the pure damage literally wiped his whole board within 5 seconds. That's pretty cool, right? So using healings against them, like a Rat Paladin. Now I decided to reroll the items, and sometimes the item placement on the units is a little annoying. You have to wait a bit, then you can place your items properly. It took me a while, it took like 30 seconds to get it ready. Almost placed the token too. So here I want more activation items. And here, even though my unit is not the best for magical damage, and the Glimmer there is actually great for multiple purpose. Not only this can be refreshed by the Refresher, this also holds units in their place. This means sometimes mages and also warriors, they stop casting or they stop moving, and this gives you way more opportunities to do more damage. So Darenei is great for most builds. So look at those units, they are stuck in their place. And then I'm going to refresh again, and then I'll get stuck in their place again. They can still cast spells, but most of the time the AI gets a little tricky, and this lets you to take the most advantage. So let's have a look at this fight against the 6 Salmons, I believe. It is always scary against the Zeus because his passive strikes for your current maximal health. So if you lose against the Zeus, you lose a lot of health. That's why I don't use all my tangles, because I can lose the Zeus and lose even more health if my health is too high. Nothing too fancy. I have went to level 10 and I decided to use my free rolls to get some warlocks. This is a warlock, but I'm also looking for the warlock synergy. So getting the god synergy with Rubik is great for lower cooldowns. It is not a major factor, but because we have warlocks, we have so much lifesteal. Any spells you cast will give you tons of life back in return for additional damage. My ultimate goal is to find 6 warlocks only because I had the additional synergy added on the Rubik. Yes, you see the other replays, having 4 warlock is already super powerful. And have a look at this. The build is very stable. You usually can come top 2, top 3 with this build, and top 1 is always possible if you pick the right synergies and also counters against the final player. Now, I'm looking around to see what other players are having, what are the counters. The Sven's a little concerning, but you got to see. So at the very start of the fight, my Dark Widow actually disappears 2 units. I start to get a little annoyed with Dark Widow because I wanted to burst damage. She's protecting the enemy. Usually Dark Widow is very good, but here I feel like she's protecting them so they're not dying fast enough. But the burst damage is great. And the Sven is the only counter to us, as you can see. Now, finally, we're left with 2 players. And let's have a look what happens after round 40. And around this time, I am still looking for activation items. And any item that can give me a purple item would be great. So we decide to put down the Warlock, and we're just missing 1 more Warlock for 6 Warlocks. So double check his team, check my lineup, my placement, and let's see if we can face tank this win. So double heal from Mechanism and also the Glindaneer pretty much took 50% of his entire health. And once we kill the Sven, we win the round. Now, on the other side, we did not kill the Sven, and he won the round. So I have been selecting more Warlocks as I was, getting my new rounds and waiting for my time. And I'm waiting for the perfect even numbers for the next level to be leveling up. I actually don't have the gold to level up around this time. It costs a lot of gold to level up, but going to level 11 or level 12 can make this build even stronger. Because your synergies are built on max level 3-star units, it is very broken. Fast forward a little bit, have a look here. The Sven is actually protected by Dark Widow. That's bad. And you can see why I wasn't happy about Dark Widow. The Dark Widow protected the Sven so much that he killed my entire team. He didn't receive the burst damage coming from the Mechanism, and that was not good. He also took my win streak. So I usually don't use Dark Widow. Just this time I didn't see the Naga Siren. I decided to use the Dark Widow. Firstly, we're going to put down the 6 Warlocks, and then I'm looking for my Naga Siren. Let's see if I can find one. We have tons of rerolls. Found Naga Siren, going to replace the Dark Widow. And let's have a look at how powerful the build is with 6 Warlocks. Now, do keep in mind, most of the time, you don't get to 6 Warlocks. I was lucky with the selection of the Relic that gives me additional synergy. Other than that, we're incredibly stable and very good in AoE survival and also burst damage. So, I decided to roll on my item because I was like, why not? Don't have, many good items to roll. Let's see if I can find a good item. Aghanim Child is not bad. So what I really want to show you guys is a pair of 6 Warlocks. So this dealt so much burst damage with this build with 6 Warlocks. The warrior was so shocked he died so fast, he actually didn't know what happened. So I want to show you this message. I said GG, and over here our warrior friend was so shocked it took him a few seconds. I think as he said, what happened there? He died so fast he didn't know what happened. So what happened with 6 Warlocks? When one of your Warlock dies, other Warlocks will gain additional healing and also mana, I believe, and this amplifies my damage output because my healing is converted into additional damage. And we just burst the warrior down within 2 seconds. And also there's no Dark Widow to save him. So yes, if you guys want to try a cool build, having the 6 Goblins with 4 Dareneis combined with at least 4 Warlock is the best way to go. If you can find 6 Warlocks, well, the fight is pretty much over because of your massive burst of healing. Now, before I finish, I also prepared multiple videos to show you guys what happens when you're playing a winning streak and what are the combinations for this build to give you guys the best experience. During the other 2 replays, you can see this is just before the current patch, so Shadow Demon is a 3-cost unit instead of 1-cost unit, so I wasn't rolling for the Shadow Demon for those builds. But you can see in the videos that when I'm running a winning streak, I tend to be a little more aggressive, and this gives me tons of free rolls. But similarly, I did go with a Mango Tree. If you guys are not sure about Mango Tree, you want to oscillate between winning and also losing multiple rounds. And do recommend it to have a look at this second replay, because using the Mango Tree gives you tons of economy and also tons of additional gold together with the Golden Mango that protects you from losing death. So you become immune to damage if you're about to die. And to get the Golden Mango, you have to perfectly combine the Mango Tree. So definitely watch out on this part how I rotate the Mango Tree, placing my units on the bench and then placing my units back on the field so I can win, lose alternatively to get the best result. Now, what I wanted to show you is much later stage of the game. So it's very similar to the previous build. We made it to 6 Goblins, 4 Dareneis. And then when you come to the later stage of the game, you really want to see what other players are playing and how you can counter them. So let's have a look over here. We have the 6 hunters, we have assassins, we have a shaman, we have a bunch of funny high rank units. So it's hard for me to defend against them, but having Naga Siren means I have the potential to go with additional Nagas or additional units. So let's have a look over here. We're facing the assassins, and let's see. We're quick counted against assassins. Because they do burst damage, we have so much armor, they can't burst us down. Then after that, we just out-sustain them, as you can see over here. And I think, oh, I actually defeated both of them. So here, what I wanted to show you guys is the build is already fully functional if you can get yourself, oh, sorry, let me go back a little bit. So the build is fully functional if you can get yourself with the basic synergy. When I say basic synergy, I mean at level 10, you go for additional Warlock for 6 Goblin, 4 Darenei, and also 4 Warlock. On top of that, I decided to pick Naga over here onto the rubric, and now I can go with 4 Nagas. How good is that? But the build is very flexible. You can go with Nagas to defend against mages, you can go against, warriors with a lot of additional armor, and finally, anything that is needed, you can go with 6 Warlocks in the ultra late game for super burst damage. And yes, over here I went with the 4 Nagas. And you can see, we pretty much took everyone out and won the fight by round 41. Now, before I finish, I also want to bring you to this replay. So this is the third replay I want to show you guys. I want to show you guys how you can transition with this build for something else. So what you can see is this build has the availability to transfer into ultra late game with 6 goblins and also 6 mechs. So for this particular replay, this is a high rank game again. This is before the update, so you can see the unit cost a little different, but similar concept. I did decide to pick the dungeon key, which means I can ban the warriors again for free. And you can see I'm running a winning streak, and I have rolled into my units into 3 stars, which really help us to stabilize the fight. Again, it is always good to pick additional synergies for your units, and I always like to pick the synergies onto my rubric. Let's have a look over here. I'm looking at mercs. I was like, oh, if I get a merc, that'll be really good, right? So I was like, how many mercs are there? Oh, I see Goblin Tinker too. I was like, oh, that's really good. And you might be wondering, hey Matt, how come you're not selecting a relic? Again, I'm keeping my certainty loop so that I can keep having my win streak. So this is a win streak build if you just want to have a look how the win streak are performed and how strong it is. So fast forwarding a little bit, you can see that eventually, over here, let's have a look. So fast forwarding a little bit, you can see that eventually I decided to select more certainty loop. Actually, no, so let me say this again. I did not select the certainty loop until now, simply because I wanted to reroll my items, and I haven't been losing until now. I think around round 25, it's okay for me to select the certainty loop, and I can reroll my items this way. Nothing too special. I did decide to pick a pipe here for more resistance, and you can see there's something a little different for this particular setup. I didn't go with a 3-star Darkseer because I couldn't find him in time. I wanted to be more aggressive to get to level 9 as quickly as I can. So here we didn't actually find the 3-star Darkseer. But that's okay. Majority of the units are 3 stars, and that's already very powerful. The biggest unit to 3-star is going to be Timbersaw. So leveling up a little bit, you can see I finally made it to level 10, and the Shadow Demon here was a 3 cost, not one cost. So I didn't go for 3-star Shadow Demon as well. Now, I'm gonna fast forward a little bit. What I really wanted to show you guys is the availability to make this build work with the 6 mercs. It crossed my mind. I was like, what am I saying? So yes, you can see I'm trying to get 6 mercs into the free, but it is very scary. Why is that? Because in order to get the 6 mercs into the free, I am susceptible to lose because I'll lose more synergies. And I also have started to box units, try to roll into Goblin Tinker, Goblin Techies, and also with my Gyrocopter. So if the legendary pool is available, you can try to roll for legendaries, and I even kept a little meeple selection over here. So notice I'm almost there with the 6 mercs, and I decide to not go with 6 mercs until the neutral round. That's very important. We got the mercs right. Did we? Did we? No, we didn't. Oh no. I thought I did. I was not very smart. I forgot to put down my my maple. But it's okay. I'll show you guys very soon. So one of the ways you can get the important mercs found is using this strategy with a magic box. The magic box themselves can find legendaries that's not even in the game. So even if Goblin Techies and also Gyrocopters not in the game, you can still find them. So for this particular replay, what I really wanted to show is the availability of you finding legendaries and also expanding this build in as an alternative selection. I keep buying legendaries, I keep rerolling them, and I want to find my final synergy with Goblin Techies to make everything grow. Of course, its Goblin Techies is also available in the game because it's a legendary that we can find. You can see a different selection of placement of units and also how you counter against other players for this particular replay. Oh, I also found Giant Ring. All the good items goes on the Timber Saw, of course. So I'm gonna fast forward a little bit. It is rather a long replay. So over here, what I wanted to show you, probably skipped a little too forward. Eventually, I found Goblin Techies. Yes, I round 41, I believe. Did we? No, not yet. Yes, on round 41, I eventually found Goblin Techies. And I'm just need to get my synergies going, and then we have 6 mercs. This build can apply 6 mercs, and this allows you to really dive deep into the synergies and also stronger late game units. Having a lot of IO over here is a great combination, and together with Gyro, you can potentially roll into 3-star Goblin Techies or 3-star Gyrocopter. We're facing a praise player. That's why half of the time you can see this replay I keep changing items. Because we're facing a praise player, I really don't want the praise to steal my my Gyrocopter and also my Timber Saw. But Timber Saw is more important. So I keep changing items, try to avoid Timber Saw getting stolen, because I know if I lose Timber Saw, I lose the fight too quickly. So this is actually a very interesting replay against a praise player. What I really want to show you guys is in the ultimate version of this build, you can also find 3-star legendaries. Yes, I was able to find a 3-star Gyrocopter using the same build that we started with, but with a lot of variation. So not only you can find tons of synergies with 6 Warlocks, 4 Nagas, you can also find with 6 mercs into legendaries and also 3-star legendaries. And I'll leave it to you guys for the final part about this replay, and you can see how powerful it is using this variant of this particular build. So all 3 replays will be available for you guys. You can see in 2 of the replays I win with a winning streak. But with the latest change, it is also possible to go with a losing streak for this build, which is also very good for the current meta. One of the strongest builds available since the latest patch update.
The dusk is always ready for a fight. The dusk. I run like a clock. Dr. Clinker. one's on me. This one's on me.
I am a robot. Yeah, just kidding. I'm rich. My suit should keep me comfortable through all of this. For the right price.
This one. Shadow Demon.
Doctor, I am the... There's a price on all their heads. Bleep, bloop. I am a robot. Yeah, just kidding. Doctor, there's a price on all their heads.
Shadow Demon.
Valor, the dawn.
I am the... My suit should keep me... For the right price.
Shadow Demon.
Bleep, bloop. I am Dr. Clinker.
The dawn star rises.
There's a price. Bleep, bloop. I am a... The Dr. Clinker is here. There's a price on all. The sea is Dr. Clinker. For the right price. My suit should keep... There's a price on... There's a price on all their heads.
Dr. Clinker.
Lucia is here for the right price. Anything.
Teach us.
end up smarting.
Sleep, Luke. I am a robot. Yeah, just kidding.
Getting better.
Yep.
I run like a clock.
Service.
Dr. Clinker. There's a price on all their heads.
Sleep, sleep, Luke. I am a robot. I am the new Mark II Rattletap. Just kidding.
Eyes up and shields right.
There's a price on all their heads.
Spirit Breaker.
Night.
Warfist.
Ice is
It changes nothing.
My suit should keep me comfortable through all of this.
What is this? A game of some sort?
Dr. Clinker. kidding. For the right is a problem. Bleep, bloop. I am a robot. Yeah, just kidding.
No grave for you.
There's a price on all their heads. The seer is here. Dr. Clinker. For the right price, anything. There's a price on. There's a price. The seer is here. The seer is here. Bleep, bloop. My suit should. Doctor, I am the. The seer is here. Bleep, bloop. I am a robot. Dr. Clean. Bleep. a price on all.
for shenanigans.
The dusk is...
I run like a clock.
Dr. Clinker.
Ice is nice.
Nightcrawler.
Try to outsmart me and you'll just end up smarting.
Time's pendulum stops.
Axe or fists, it changes nothing. Axe or fists, it changes nothing.
Sleep, Gloop. I am a robot.
With bones and spells I come. From the deeps, I rise.
Nightcrawler.
When you ice is nice. Enchant.
stands ready.
Guess we better.
Yep. Enchanted, I'm sure.
Wait, Luke, I am a robot. Yeah, just kidding.
Dr. Clinker.
What is
Geomancer!
There's a price on all
Meatball
their
the
heads.
Geomancer!
Guess we better.
nice and nice?
Faceless void. For the right price, anything.
At your service. In green, I go.
My suit should keep me comfortable through all of this.
Time for
Enchanted.
one's on me.
Bleep bloop. I am a robot. Yeah, just kidding.
There's a price on all.
I am the new master.
Dr. Clinker.
This one's on me.
Bleep bloop.
Dr. Clinker.
There's a price.
Mice.
Bleep bloop.
For the right price.
I am
Dr. Clinker.
There's a price.
Dr. Clinker.
There's a price on all their heads.
My suit should keep me comfortable through all of this.
There's a price on.
This one's on me. god.
Meatball the Geomancer! The seer is here. I'm the brains.
And I'm the brawn. Stormcrafter